Hi, welcome to EQD Global Insights for Thursday, February 11th. Today, we're going to check in on European volatility, see how VSTOXX is doing. VIX continues to hold above 20, and the curve remains pretty steep. And we do have a three-day weekend coming up, so I want to talk about how that affects VIX and VIX futures. Starting in Europe, EuroStoxx 50 is up about 0.5% to 36.65. EuroStoxx 50 is actually lagging the U.S. U.S. has been making new highs. The EuroStoxx 50 is about 4% off of pre-pandemic highs from February of last year. VSTOXX down 112 to about 21.35. VSTOXX curve, February is down 70 cents to 21.85, 50-cent premium to spot. March is down 25 cents to 23.80. April and May, slight trend up with May at 25.15, and then June to September are all slightly lower, trend down, finishes around, I believe, 24.80 or so on the downside. On the trading side, there was 1x2 put spread. We using the April contracts. Somebody bought the April 22 puts, sold twice as many of the April 20 puts. It only cost them 2.5 cents. The break even for that trade on the downside is just below 22, and then the trade would actually get in trouble above 18. So they're looking for VSTOXX to be hovering around that 20 level between now and April expiration. So checking in on the U.S. markets, the S&P 500 is up 0.25% to 39.20. VIX down 15 cents to 21.84. February down 25 cents to 23.50. $1.65 premium, $1.66 premium to spot. I expect that to narrow tomorrow in front of the long weekend with expiration looming next week. We will get into that a little bit more in a second. March is at 27.10, down 20 cents. Big premium to spot. The curve is the same shape as VSTOXX, just at higher levels. Peaks out at 29.15 for both the May and June contracts, and then trends down to about 28.50 for the September contract. Trading wise, seen about 25,000 of the February 21 puts purchased at 17 cents today. 15,000 were purchased on Monday at the same price. Checked in on the open interest. Looks like it might be a short cover, and odds are they probably sold those options at higher levels maybe a month or so ago. There also seems to be a seller of a bunch of the February 45 calls between 10 and 12 cents. I think maybe somebody's salvaging some premium from a long position, again, before we get into that long three-day weekend. Finally, I brought it up a couple of times, but we do have a three-day weekend with Monday being a U.S. President's Day holiday. There has always been a weekend effect that has impacted VIX due to the calendar day count. Now, this gets accentuated around three-day weekends, and I got a lot of numbers on a table here for you. I definitely want to highlight a handful of them. First, the top part of this figure, before the weekend, this would be Friday this time around. It'd be a Thursday if we had a Friday holiday. You can see that on non-holiday weekends, on average, VIX loses 10 cents. There is a weekend impact there. On holiday weekends, before a holiday weekend, on average, it loses around 26 cents. Something else that I thought was kind of interesting before weekends, on average, the month one and month two futures are unchanged before a regular weekend. On average, they're down slightly going into a holiday weekend. Now, you've got to keep in mind that the futures are somewhat based on anticipation of where VIX is going. VIX traders are smart. They've got a pretty good idea that going into a long weekend or going into the weekend that you pay a little bit less attention to spot VIX, maybe pay attention to that front month future. Now, coming out of the weekend, we get a headwind going into it. We get a tailwind coming out of it. And this would be Tuesday next week. After a non-holiday weekend, normally on a Monday after a regular old weekend, VIX actually climbs 27 cents. You can see that there's very little difference with respect to month one and month two futures after the weekend. After the weekend, after a holiday weekend, we can see a really big bump in VIX. On average, VIX climbs 76 cents after a long weekend, getting a little bit of a boost once we get that weekend behind us. And you can also notice that, again, not much of an impact at all on the futures contracts. Both are slightly down on average after a holiday weekend. So really the big point here is this sort of activity shows up in spot VIX, does not show up in the futures contracts. So thanks for joining me for EQD Research Global Insights for February 11th. If you like what you heard and found it useful, please hit that like button below and don't forget to subscribe. We also welcome comments and are open to suggestions on how to make this program more useful and informative. Feel free to leave comments below or shoot me an email at rhodes@eqderivatives.com.